මාස 14 වන දින සිට ජනාධිපතිවරයා සිය ධූරයෙන් ඉල්ලා නීත්‍යානුකූලව ඉවත් වී ඇත. මෙතෙන් පටන් නව ජනාධිපතිවරයෙකු තෝරාපත් කර ගැනීමේ ව්‍යවස්ථාමය ක්‍රියාදාමයේ ක්‍රියාත්මක වනු ඇත. එම ක්‍රියාදාමයේ අවසන් වන තෙක් ජනාධිපති ධූරයේ බලතල කාර්ය සහ කර්තව්‍ය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම සහ ඉටු කිරීම සඳහා ව්‍යවස්ථා ප්‍රකාරව අග්‍රාමාත්‍යවරයා කටයුතු කරනු ඇත. නව ජනාධිපතිවරයා තෝරාපත් කර ගැනීම පක්ෂ නායක රැස්වීමේදී මා විසින් සියලු පක්ෂ නායකයන් දැනුවත් කළ ආකාරයට 1981 අංක 2 දරන ජනාධිපතිවරයා තෝරාපත් කර ගැනීමේ විශේෂ විධිවිධාන පනත සහ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ 40 වන වගන්තිය ප්‍රකාරව ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනු ලැබේ. මෙම ක්‍රියාදාමයේ ඉතා ඉක්මනින්ම සාර්ථකව අවසන් කිරීම මාගේ අරමුණයි.
All right, that's essentially the Sri Lankan speaker briefing the media. Now remember, the announcement that we're expecting is the official resignation of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He handed in his resignation yesterday. Remember, celebrations have taken over the streets of Sri Lanka because Rajapaksa finally handed in his resignation. Now remember, Gotabaya Rajapaksa has been on the run ever since the protests across the island nation intensified. He resigned after he took a private jet from the Maldives to Singapore, and the Speaker of the Sri Lankan Parliament essentially is what we're expecting is going to formally announce his resignation. Now the House is likely to resume after a 3-day period. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's acting President and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who had earlier agreed to resign, has said that he will not back down, even though protesters are essentially asking for his resignation as well. Now remember, Sri Lanka has been reeling under massive protests for nearly 100 days since a severe economic crisis hit the island nation. Now I'm crossing over to my colleague Purnima Murli, who is live with us from Colombo. Purnima, what can you tell us about the Speaker's address?
Well, in fact, we'll have to wait and see what the Speaker said. But the Speaker's team yesterday said that they received an official letter from Gotabaya Rajapaksa and that they will verify the documents. There's a briefing right now with the Speaker. All eyes on whether he will make that announcement or whether he will buy some more time. Gotabaya Rajapaksa had sent his resignation letter yesterday. Today the Speaker is all set to verify the documents. So do you think today is the historic day for the people's struggle?
Yes, definitely. Today is the day. Yesterday we got that soft copy. We celebrate. Today is the day. This is the time we are going to celebrate. This is 74 political history. This is the historical time. First time we are going to celebrate this.
Also, do you think this is going to be the end of the Rajapakshas ruling the country?
Definitely. This is they can't. Future they can't. They will. They don't do politics here in Sri Lanka.
Right now, when Gotabaya Rajapaksa is all set to step down formally and the Speaker is making the announcement, what about your next demand, Ranil? Do you think he will resign or do you think he will be the interim president for some time? And will the protesters then ensure the resignation of Ranil, because he says that he will not step down?
No. Definitely he wants to. We don't accept his president.
Do you think Ranil will step down?
Yeah, we are not representing any party. Because of this struggle, we think he should resign, because of this is not democratic. This is not democratic because he is coming from not votes. He not coming from votes. He is coming from the nationalist.
Nationalist. He came from nationalist.
Yeah. Then we are.
You will continue protesting.
Protesting.
Okay. Do you also think that it's time for new faces, or do you want opposition, or do you think opposition parties can rule the country?
No, we are not trusting any opposition party because we are leading some leading. We are making a new party.
We are trying to put some new faces, some new young faces. We are going to rule this country.
So that's the word that's coming in from a majority of protesters we've been speaking to over the last couple of days. While they want the resignation of Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe, they also feel that it's time for new faces to ensure that Sri Lanka gets back on track. They don't have the confidence in other political parties as well, because they say for the last few decades, no party has done anything for the Sri Lankans, which is why they want new faces, and they think that this is the time for the change, and they think that the victory is only because of the people's struggle. Today is day 98 of protests, and protests are continuing peacefully. Their slogan has been "Gota, go home," and many of them are wearing T-shirts with this hashtag "Go home, Gota." And finally, today is the historic day according to these protesters. Back to you.
All right, Purnima, essentially we've gotten information about how the Sri Lankan speaker has confirmed that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has handed in his resignation. Now the parliament has received the letter of resignation via the Sri Lankan High Commission in Singapore. And what the speaker is doing is making arrangements to essentially verify the authenticity and then seek legal advice with regard to the future course of actions. What can we expect now? Because essentially the resignation has officially been announced by the Sri Lankan speaker. He's going to verify and confirm the authenticity of the letter. What next?
Well, once he confirms the authenticity of the resignation letter that he received late last night from Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the next is to convene the parliament, and that should happen within 3 days. In the meantime, in the interim, there will be an acting president, and that could continue for a span of 30 days. Once Gotabaya resignation is officially confirmed by the speaker, then Ranil Wickremesinghe will be the interim president for a span of 30 days, and in the interim, there will be a parliament session that will convene within 3 days, after which they will discuss the nominations for president's post. Those who want to contest for the post can put forth their views in the parliament, and then the vote will happen, and finally the 225 parliamentarians will decide who could be the next president. But the front runners so far, one of them includes Ranil Wickremesinghe as well, which is why chorus for Ranil's resignation is growing louder. So there will be front runners for the president's post. Even Sajid Premadasa, the leader of opposition, has shown interest. But in terms of who will get the support from the ruling party parliamentarians, that remains to be seen, because right now it's the ruling party that holds majority. So we'll have to wait and see how the parliament session then pans out. But within 3 days after Gotabaya resigns, after the speaker accepts the resignation letter, the next step is to convene the parliament. Remember, it was all scheduled to convene today, but because the resignation got delayed and it's still not yet formally accepted by the speaker, the parliament session in all likelihood will convene on Monday, which is when we will know how many people are interested and the kind of support that every nominee gets in the parliament. So next week is when the parliament will convene, and they will have a new president in place for the remaining tenure.
All right, Purnima, thank you so much for joining us and bringing us all of that input. Now we have some breaking news coming in on this story.